Okay, welcome back, you guys. Wow, it feels like it's been forever, but yet it doesn't. So, holy shit, so much going on. So I've got some high level things that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to tune into, and I'm going to show you some new things, okay, that have been coming in. So specifically, you all got the meditation from Lionsgate. I'm also going to send you all the message that came before Lionsgate. I think I forgot to send it to you because it was recorded a little funny, but I received some amazing. Oh, Laura's paused now. Laura, can you still hear us?
I think
Okay.
she's frozen.
Need to clear the channel. Clearly, there's some fuckery. So let's just do that now. Why don't everybody just sort of get yourself situated? There's definitely some, yeah, she's coming in on the other side. Okay, so let's just clear all our channels now. Wouldn't surprise me. Everything to do with technology things have been, it's part of what we're going to be talking about.
Oh, we also have a whole pile of like really bad storm coming in right now.
Solar, yeah,
Yeah.
there's mass
I think
solar
the
infections right
upgrade
now.
is 4.
Yeah,
I don't
it's pretty bad, the solar storm. But let's just clear the channel.
apparently also the ones that were giving us the big CMEs, like the big X classes, it currently is on the backside of the sun, but it's flipping this way in the next week or two.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
been pretty intense. I don't know if you guys are feeling like I'm even feeling it's been a lot. It's been a lot. I needed some extra support. So thank you, Kelly. Yesterday, Kelly did a full session on me. I don't really ever know the last time I've allowed that to happen or needed a full session from somebody else. So thank you, Kelly. It was very much appreciated. Okay, I think we've cleared the channel. What we're going to do before we start is let's just bring ourselves into 0 point, call ourselves back here, create our own little vortex, shall we? Okay, deep breath in. Okay, bring yourself into the room, this now moment. Start that breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, I'm gonna do some group clearing as we do this and to bring us back into this moment. So I feel that it's just a lot of crazy energy right now that is creating some waves of not so good. So let's just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Clearing some dark custodians and seals. Quite a few of them. Keep breathing for me in through the nose, out through the mouth. Okay, now call back your energy now. Call back all the versions of you. There we go. Everybody's getting an auric field upgrade right now. Just receive. Good. Okay. Some of you are receiving the removal of dark custodians and seals you've placed on yourself. Okay, and now together, I'm just going to ask you to repeat after me. I revoke my consent now to participating in any and all karmic loops, attachments, emotions, relationships, traumas, contracts, cords, agreements, a debt of any kind that is no longer serving my highest and greatest good. It is done, it is dissolved. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to now ask on the benefit for the benefit of all of us in this group, including those who are not here on this call. I am going to also ask that this be done on behalf of our collective, our group. Thank you. And And they're doing some energetic work around our combined auric field. So the group of us together, including those that are not in this room with us or together with us now. Thank you. That is done. Thank you. Is there anything else that I need to do? Yes. Okay, they'd like to take us up to our pyramid and our combined pyramid together to do this work together today. So find your heart again. If you haven't come out, great. Ask for all of your teams now to come forward, whoever is not here. All your higher teams of light, your ascension team. Good, there we go. Okay. And then now I'm just gonna guide you through the exercise of going from your heart light all the way up. Getting the sense they don't want us to do this work in this dimension. They want us to go all the way up. All the way up. All the way up. Good, there you go. Good. And if you could just look towards your pyramid. They're reminding me to notice that you were floating within your Merkaba already. Just notice your Merkaba. Good, there we go. Make your way to the pyramid door or entranceway. Make your way through the door or entranceway. Good. And right directly to our spiraling light car wash. Step into and just reminding you here that this is quantum within this space. So everything that you need done is being done for you at this time. To optimize your light quotient, your bodies, your fields, your chakras. You're going to show me when that is complete. And that is complete. And then now you're going to come out the other side and walk towards the center of the pyramid. And we're going to gather here at the center of the pyramid. I literally see us sitting like in a circle. And this is where we're going to do the work today. Thank you. So we have a team of us here to help us through this higher learning today. The first that are coming forward are Isis and her counterpart. I believe it's Osiris. Is that correct? Yes. Merlin is here. Yes, that would make sense. Metatron, of course, is here. Sandalphon. Serapis Bey. Melchizedek. Yeshua. Kuan Yin is here. I can't pronounce it. It starts with an S. It's a being I don't usually work with. Starts with an S. Feminine. It's a feminine. It's a divine feminine. Anyone else that I need to be aware of right now? No. There's also a team. Syrians. It's not a being. It's a team of Syrians that are here to assist us. Sorry about that. But yes, they are a team that I don't usually work with, that I'm sure I'm starting to work with, and they say yes. How many of you are here? They are elements of our higher selves. There's a version of each of us here that is an element of our higher selves that is Syrian. They are the ones that we are going to be working with today. I'm going to ask if the Octurians are here at all. The Octurians are not here for this. We are working specifically with the Syrians and specifically with our higher self versions of us. They wish to welcome you. Most of you had made contact. Are there any of them that have not made contact with this version of themselves? Keep going. Is there one of them here that has not made contact with this version of themselves? Keep going. Okay, so what they're trying to tell me is that you have made contact with this version of yourself. However, you were not aware that this was your Syrian fractal, soul fractal. So for some of you, actually me included, this would be sort of the first time I'm understanding that I'm communicating with my Syrian higher self fractal. Is that correct? Correct. And this could be very similar for some of you. They are here to guide us. Yes. And show us some of the new technology. Some of which you've already been doing with extra guidance and new techniques. Specifically, this relates to, yes, work in the timelines, as well as other energies you may be dealing with on the planet at this time. For lack of a better word, I'm going to call it the fuckery. Okay, so this is new to me, guys, and I didn't have any prior understanding that we'd be working with the Syrians. I'm just going with it. Some of you here are more familiar with working in our energy than others. Again, we wish to tell you some of you aren't even aware that you are working with us. Okay, so is this new for some of those that are here in person today? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Is it because we are now, are we that we're still in this Lionsgate energy that you're here at this time? Yes and no. It was just time. All of you in your conscious awareness and in your light bodies are ready and able to connect to us now. And so it is just now time for us to show you this technology. It is becoming more necessary, yes, beyond healing, to start to work with portal energy and timelines. And this is what we are here to share with you today. Thank you. Okay, good. Does anybody have any specific question before I go forward, or any comment? Go ahead, Kelly.
I just saw something and was curious and I haven't tuned in. Is it Isis's birthday today?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I was like, who knew?
Interesting. Okay. She's the first being that came in.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, I was gonna ask. I saw it in a video. I didn't even really think that they had birthdays, not that they wouldn't.
I don't think I've never heard of them having birthdays.
Me
but,
either. That's why I was like, is this a thing?
So it must be I hear the word portal. So it must be a portal day for her. Go ahead, Natalie.
Also on Lionsgate, I did a meditation and I'm sure Isis put an ankh on my third eye.
She did.
Okay.
Okay. So she has been very much here during this Lionsgate energy, this portal. She was very prominent in my meditations up for Lionsgate as well. So, and she came in first and with her divine male counterpart, Osiris. So they're also sort of leading this. Okay. So they must be Syrian beings. Interesting. Didn't know that. Okay. Okay. So did anyone else have any other questions specifically about what we're going to do today? This team that's here? No. Okay. So this is a little odd because I didn't plan for this, this whole connection piece. I just thought I was going to be teaching you about timelines. Now there's another whole level because they're here too. Okay. All right. So the way that I wanted to go over timelines and teach this was to tune into each one of you to see if there were certain timelines that needed to be addressed. So am I able to proceed it that way? Yes. Okay. They're just going to support me. So if you get any messages in between, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay. So where this kind of all began was about 3 weeks ago. I was driving. So some of you know this story. And I, for some reason, just started, we've all been already working in timelines. Okay. So when we work in timelines, it's like when we go back to a version of us, our child self, let's say, or a past life. So when we're doing that work, we're already working in timelines. Okay. So you're all able to work in timelines. Okay. And that is a caveat. I need to say that because as you've learned, there's many rules to working in timelines. You don't want to, you have to always ask permission, right? Because you could interrupt something that could have happened or would have happened that would impact someone else negatively. So the reason why, and they told me at this time, and that there's not all energy workers can work in timelines. Okay, so the first thing is if you're called to this group to work in timelines, it's because you're able to. Okay, so that's what I wanted to let you know. Okay, not everybody can do this, and not everybody should do this. So you're already working in timelines, like I said, even when you do your own clearing and you do like a version of your child self or something comes up, okay, and you're cord cutting or working in ancestral trauma, okay, that is also timeline work. Okay, so when we go back, we get a source of a miasm from an ancestral trauma. That is also timeline work. So we're going back to that particular timeline. And remember how I always tell you guys, you are the portal. And that's what also gives you permission to be there. So when you are working with your clients, okay, you're also working in timelines on their behalf. And this has to be taken very seriously. This is why you really have to make sure that you're asking the questions. Do I have permission? Okay, really important. Which you're all there already. I just want to make sure that I'm restating that. Okay. So the next level, so beyond ancestral trauma healing, cord cutting, saving a version of yourself, saving or going back to a past life version of yourself, there's a whole other layer that is now at play. That what I've understood. Okay. In the last about month. Okay. Now this, and I believe, I'm not going to say believe, I'm just going to keep doing this. And if I'm wrong, they'll tell me. The variant is, since we've been in this sort of Noah's Ark space out of time, accelerated ascension time period with these solar frequencies and these timeline jumps happening all the time, right? There's more and more timeline shifting going on. Okay. And you know how we've talked about how every time there is a timeline shift, that it may pull you backwards into the old storyline. Okay. Yeah. So this is why we need to add sort of another level or another question to when you're healing yourself. You need to also ask. So we're going to use ourselves as examples today. And once you start to practice within yourself, then you'll be able to start to practice with other people. But I wanted to preface all of this with the fact that you're already doing timeline work. Okay. This is nothing new. This is just another level. Okay. Hold on here. Okay. All right. So the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to practice. Okay. So in the car while I was getting this download, and they were telling me it's another level of healing work that is now available to us, and also something we need to be tapping into more often, not just assuming that it's a past life, okay, when we're doing some sort of healing or a child version of ourselves. So this is where it gets really fun, and we're all going to check in on our own. The way they described it to me is we have a root lifetime or a root timeline. And from what I understand, this is the root timeline. That's a yes. Okay. So there's a root timeline that you have. So then what it will be an interesting exercise that we're going to do in just a minute. There are also, specifically, there are parallel timelines, not just our timelines. So there's also all of our higher self, monadic selves. I'm not talking about them. Okay. So that's what we covered before. So is there someone in my higher monadic self or a version of me or a fractal of me that needs help? But what specifically we're dealing with right now is parallel timelines. Okay. So this is where we need, this is where it gets really cool. So what we're going to do is an exercise now. Please don't be overwhelmed. They're going to guide us through all of this. Okay. So, this is just something else to add to your arsenal. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done in parallel lifetimes right now because of what we're moving through is what they're telling. Okay. So when the other things aren't kind of working, you got to try this one. Okay. So this is what I did. And then I'm going to ask you guys to all kind of do a little exercise. I'll walk you through it. But what you want to know is, so I would be asking the question, you can ask for yourself, is there an aspect of parallel timelines that need to be healed or looked at today? So just ask the question. You got a yes, Holly? Good thing I got a no. That's good. Thank God. We don't all need to be doing it today. Okay. So Holly's a yes. Okay. Kelly, yes. I'm assuming you're going to get yeses because we're going to practice with everybody here. Yes, Lori? Okay. Let me know. Did anyone get a no? Besides me. Did you get a yes, Carlo, or a no?
So far, I'm getting a keep going. I just
Okay.
started writing it down. I hadn't fully asked, so.
Okay. So I'm going to assume, does Carlo also have a parallel type that needs to be looked at? Yep.
I'm getting a yes for that too.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the way this works, you guys, is there is a root lifetime. So let's assume we're in the root lifetime. So let me just explain what I did, how I figured it out. I asked a bunch of questions. So this is where you can kind of determine where your parallel lifetime. So the way they showed it to me was core events in my life. For example, there is no timeline where Ellie and Zach are not born for me. Okay, so that we know that that's a core anchor point to a timeline. I've checked. Okay, so the first thing, if you do have kids, would be to ask, Jan 2, is there a timeline where my child, and this, we might want to tune into Kelly because we did timeline work with you as an example. So I'll talk about that. Okay, so is there a timeline where my children are not born? I'm assuming it's going to be a no, but you never know.
Both of mine had timeline.
Yes. So with Kelly, we had to, okay, so I'll just explain kind of where this came up. So we're going to ask other questions, but this is all going to help you learn. She was experiencing pain that felt like stomach, right? Stomach cramping.
Stomach and back.
And back. So she couldn't figure it out. She tried clearing. She was doing all the things. So then I tuned in, and right away I got labor, yeah, you got it too? Yeah. So right away I got labor, something to do with pregnancy, labor. Okay. And then from then I got that you had cleared anything else. And so I got very clearly that it was a timeline thing. And then I tuned in and I got that it had to do with her first child. So what we did was we tuned into that pain and so basically, if you can explain what happened in the first child in childbirth.
Yeah. So it was the second that came up, and then I ended up going back to the first one. So Alicia was asking me if there was a timeline where a moment.
But it also had something to do with your physical pain in the first childbirth.
Yeah.
So something that could have gone wrong is what I asked.
Yeah. So my first one was 34 hours. It was long, and the epidural didn't work, it only froze half of my body, and I only had pain on the side of my body that wasn't frozen. It had to do with that labor, but then there was also a potential timeline where I didn't have my second. And what I was saying to Alicia is their dad actually had like an emotional affair when Abby was 3 weeks old. So I almost left, in which case I wouldn't have had my second.
So there was specifically a physical issue. Your sound is cutting out just a little bit. I don't know if you can adjust that somehow.
Yep.
So what it told me was, number one, that this was applicable to a timeline. Number two, I got that it had to do with her second child, but then I got that it had to do with labor or delivery. So then she says, yes, my labor was intensive and the epidural didn't work. So the pain would have been very bad. And I was getting yes, 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 yes. But there was also something physically that could have been off because of that labor that didn't happen. I was told. Okay. And then she got the drop right after that reminded her about how she, her husband had an emotional affair and that she almost left her husband. So that then impacted whether or not she was going to have her second daughter or not. And that was the timeline that needed to be healed in order. So that version of Kelly and her body was showing her, based on the labor induced pain, what timeline needed to be adjusted. Does that make sense? So we were still using our body to show us, because it was her body that was in pain. She called me because she couldn't figure it out herself.
Yeah.
Right. So there was all the other steps taken. Okay. So basically what we're saying is the next thing you add to that, is there a timeline or a parallel timeline or a timeline issue within this lifetime? So if you think about it, if we're going through all these collective timeline jumps, right? That's a lot of moving timelines that are in flux. Back to your message earlier, Holly, about the Titanic, and now who knows whether or not some of these major time, earthbound, like collective timeline jumps aren't going to lead to less trauma for us now. Yes, go ahead, Carlo.
I was just getting, I tapped on the top of my head. I was just getting that it's possible that we're able to access the timelines now because the matrix has been lifted. It's dissolving. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you
And
Google
that
it, it says
allows us to tap
1,500
into.
people passed on the
Timeline.
Titanic. I was one of them, and he was too, actually. He was too, and so was my sister, but my sister was a child, and she actually made it. We jumped overboard. I saw it. I actually saw it because I had phobia really bad of water, ocean, all that. It was like extremely like debilitating. And one time when I was going into meditation, I said, please show me past lives that pertain to my life now. And then when I started meditating, they showed me this whole movie scene, and I felt the feelings. I saw everything going on. The boat, like it was like this. It was like this. I don't even know how people were standing on it. It was so, it
probably weren't.
Yeah, and
so
everyone had on weird clothing and weird life jacket.
What I've gotten, Holly, is all of those. So you cleared that timeline.
Yeah.
Okay. For you, for Carlo, for probably your sister, and who knows how many others. Okay. So what I'm getting is that with all of these collective and all of this collective work we've been doing. So imagine if there's a million of yous out there, and yous and yous and yous, who've been clearing all these timelines for the last 5 to 10 years, right? All of that work collectively, I mean, I can tell you, I've seen every epoch in history at this point. I think I've seen the Titanic, I've seen working with all of my clients, right? So if you think about it, what they're telling us now, though, is that we're at this heightened quantum phase where timelines, oh, Kathy's here, where timelines now can be, it's like we're going into the granule level. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then what they're saying is specifically, hey, Kath, good timing.
Hi, sorry. My company's having a nap.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. So we're knee deep. We're already in the pyramid, but I did it on all your behalf for you
Right.
to watch in the end. So just maybe take a minute while I'm talking and go up into the pyramid. We got a whole crew, and we're working with Syrians today. There's a whole group of them. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're not interrupting at all. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is so now you've all checked, and so I'll wait till Kathy tunes in.
So do
You've
you
all
think we
checked.
get prepared, like almost, because that's what I was saying the other day, the Titanic or any other situation that happened.
Any
9/11,
other? Yeah.
someone goes back and clears it, we can almost like get rid of all of that for everybody, for the collective, because anything traumatizing,
This is what we're doing.
like
This
even
is
9/11,
what
we should do that one day too. Clear it. Clear
we
that
can
whole shit.
we can do it. Okay. However, remember, we got to be very careful working in timelines.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
We always
You
ask-
always have to ask permission.
Yeah,
Okay. Because then I can't state this enough, you guys. You can't fuck with this. You cannot
Yeah.
fuck with the timelines.
No, not if it's
Okay. And the
the-
timelines are going to come up. So to your point, Holly, they're going to come up for clearing at the time that it is right, divine time. You were in that moment. That was the divine time, and you did it. Okay. You're not here to save the world. You're
no,
here to save yourself. And
Yeah.
as you do that, you are working to the collective. But what if, I mean, I've worked with many people that have, a couple of people anyway, not many, that have had sort of major earth cataclysmic type of event timelines. Okay. Especially, I have worked with more than one person who was associated with the Titanic. Okay. So imagine if all of those souls have then been untrapped. Okay. And now these Syrians are coming in and going, okay, now we're going to get even more granular. So let's bring it back to us now. Okay. You got to bring it back to you. Okay. Because you are the one that you need to heal, because you are the portal to many timelines.
Yeah.
So Kathy, what we just asked was, and you can ask your pendulum, your body, is there a timeline that needs to be cleared now? Is there a parallel timeline? So one in this lifetime. And we just talked about the fact that we are and assuming that we are on our root timeline. We're in the highest timeline. Okay. Because there could be a timeline, let's say, that you didn't join this group and you didn't do all that work. There could be a timeline where, you quit halfway through and you didn't get here and you went in another direction. Okay. However, what we were describing was that what we need to figure out to help us is to figure out which timelines are part of our root. So I explained that there is no parallel timeline still applicable now for me, that my children are not here. So I understand that now. So there's these epochs of like these times within your personal timeline. And so we want to kind of figure that out. And that's the first question you want to ask. Okay. So then you want to check in to see. So I just did this because it was fun and interesting, but I asked all these questions. Is there a timeline that I'm not with Max? Yes or no? That's a yes. I asked, is there a timeline I'm still with Tim? Yes or no? It's a yes. So there are certain timelines, parallel timelines, that we need to tune into now.
probably because there's something from it, right? Still.
Yeah, well, there's still something to heal from it. Yeah. There's still something from that timeline that it's a clue to, right? That something still exists. And if all of these bigger timeline shifts are happening in the world, you can imagine how it's going to also be affecting ours individually.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try the exercise now. We're gonna go through everybody, because I think practice is exactly how we learn to do this. Okay. So do you want to start with Natalie? Natalie, do you want to start? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so you got a yes that there is a timeline, a parallel timeline, because we're not talking past, we're not talking, higher self. Okay, that is affecting you today. Okay, so let's do the work. So did you tune in to did you ask the questions?
Okay,
Is it-
not yet.
Okay, so let's go.
And then I was curious because like Kathy and I have never had kids. So we
Is there a
don't have
timeline? Or you can ask, is there a timeline I have a child?
Is there a timeline where I have a child? No.
Okay. So so you can ask the question, is this a timeline? So what I would do is I take key point major times in my life of change. So I maybe go pre and passing, post and passing.
Okay. And like I've moved like growing up, I moved a lot. Okay, so is there a timeline where Anne is still alive? No.
Okay, so now you want to kind of so then you want to find where this is. So you can say,
Sorry,
is this
you cut
pre-
out. Sorry, you cut out, Alicia. I have to find a timeline where.
So you're trying to, just like you're trying to find a past life, you're trying to find the origin to whatever it is that needs to be cleared in this lifetime. It's a parallel lifetime. So is this related to a timeline where I didn't marry Morrow?
It's related to a timeline where I didn't marry Morrow. No, is
Is this whatever this is related to a timeline after I married Morrow?
this related to a timeline after I married Morrow? No, I think I just got something. Is this related to what happened to the timeline that happened with my father? I get a yes.
Okay.
Okay, is it possible that this event would not have happened? No.
Keep going.
Is there a timeline where this event could have
Affected you even more?
affected me even more? Yes.
Bingo. Okay. Ask if we're on the right track, if this is
Are we
it.
on the right track here? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now ask them, just like you would anything else, to take you to maybe an age. Ask them to take you to an age.
Okay, take me to an age. Am I 2? 3? I'm 3 years old. So 1966, is this before my sister was born? After my sister was born? Okay.
Okay.
So it's
So
between 3 and 4.
is this the timeline that needs to be cleared? Is she between the ages of 3 and 4? That's a yes.
Okay. But my
Okay.
sister was born. Okay.
Okay. So remember, it's a parallel timeline. So whatever shaped that time, okay, you went this way instead of going this way.
Yeah. So we're healing the timeline
That
that could
caused you
have
to go
been.
that way. Yes.
Okay, all of a
So-
sudden I'm confused because I don't know if I'm healing the timeline that could have been.
So
or
let's so ask the question. You are, that's what you're healing. You're healing so it's a parallel timeline. So that one incident, so every one of these incidents, guys, we either bridge this way or this way. We either take this road or that road in these major epochs of our life. Does that make sense? So there was a lifetime, or sorry, there was a timeline in your lifetime at 3 to 4 where that event sent you into another direction.
Okay, but it could have been a different direction too. Could have been worse.
It could have been
worse
but there's something here that needs to be cleared. So
because
then,
of where it sent me.
right. Okay, so now you ask, is there a version of me at another age that was impacted by this in this parallel lifetime?
Is there a version of me that was impacted by this lifetime? Yes, I'm getting. Is this when I was 17? Is this when I had
This is where we're going. Yep.
So I had an eating disorder at
Bingo.
17.
This is it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it could have been worse, is what I'm getting. So there's a parallel version of you where that trauma, because you went this way, caused even more damage. Okay, so there's a parallel version of you who needs
Oh my God,
healing.
I'm so confused.
Okay, yes. Okay, ask if we're on track.
Are we on track here? Yes.
Okay, so are we simply clearing this again? This timeline of what happened with your dad, the abuse, or the eating disorder when you were 17, that is a whole version of you. Are we clearing that timeline? It's either yes, no, or keep going. Oh, and now she's frozen.
But this being, I'm going to call it sexual abuse. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Everybody froze. I was ready to get out and come back.
You were
So I
froze
missed
too.
whatever happened. Okay.
And of course, you're the one that froze, not anybody else. So that's interesting.
Oh, and you all froze for me.
Yeah, you didn't, none of us froze, you did. So there's
strange.
an entity we need to clear.
Oh, come on, really, eh?
So it's like, remember, the trauma causes the lower vibration, which causes the eating disorder, which then could have caused you to spiral another direction, even worse than that. So there's a parallel version of you that did not heal from that eating disorder. Does that make sense to you?
And it got worse. Like it got exceptionally worse. She couldn't battle it, and it led to other things. It's essentially clearing that timeline so there are no versions of you out of alignment with the you are now.
Does this make sense?
Well, it makes sense, but I keep getting confused as to, okay, the event at 3 years old, it went one way, but it could have gone worse.
That's not what we're clearing, though. It seems
That's not we're clearing the
17-year-old version, because if that event did get worse, then that 17-year-old version of you would have more trauma. She would be worse.
Gone down even more, right?
Even more.
It's like a snowball into your parallel timelines.
So they want us to close the root of the problem, which is the 3-year-old version, and the 17-year-old version, because there is a parallel version of you who's living out that timeline, and we need to clear it.
And I remember my father driving me to work and saying, because I had bulimia for 2 years, and he said, oh, you were so pretty when you were little. And I saw it as little being slimmer, but he meant it little being little, but like that didn't help either.
So this thing, and it started coming up right when we got to it, you froze. So now we know that there's an entity that's attached to that storyline, that timeline. Does that make sense?
Well, anything can seem to make sense lately. It's just crazy shit.
It is crazy. I know. Okay. But we have the proof now because we had the satanic entity come in. He doesn't want us to clear it. So you still have agreements with him, and you need to clear that version of you.
Okay.
All right. So what you're doing is you're not just clearing the 3-year-old or the 17-year-old, you're clearing the whole timeline. Just like we talked about with Kelly, if that emotional affair right after her having a baby could have really fucked with her, right? It could have really fucked with her and gone in a whole other direction that would have resulted in her not even having her second child. Does that make sense? So it's like it's not just clearing the root of the trauma. It is that, okay, but it's a parallel timeline issue. Okay, so let's just do it. It's real easy. It's the same as we do with everything else, okay? So now that you understand it, we know there's satanic involvement because the satanic involvement is the trauma. So the trauma was allowed to happen, it was supposed to happen to you so that you wouldn't reach this healed state, that you would continue down the path of
a road of not being well. Even though like I healed the bulimia, but maybe there's an aspect that, I still think of my weight and,
or maybe it's just simply a parallel timeline that needs to be cleared. Just like we have a higher version collective of ourselves, we also have parallel versions of ourselves. It's just best we not think about it with our minds. That's all I have to tell you. Just don't, okay? Just understand that this is impacting you in some way and it needs to be removed, okay? I'm feeling it right here in the heart and in the solar plexus.
And it's funny because years ago I had a deep, what do you call those, deep tissue massage? And right here, there's a block, physical, hard.
Okay, so let's do it right now, okay? Yep, so there you go, same thing. Again, it's just another way to get to the root of an issue we are having here, okay? All right, so then simply the same as we do with everything else. Obviously, you have permission, it's yours. Okay, so I feel you.
I feel you.
I know what you've done.
I know what you've done.
Thanks for bringing me back. Thanks for the lessons.
Thanks for bringing me back. Thanks for the lessons.
And I don't consent anymore.
I don't consent anymore.
So then I want you to say to the entity, would be the head of the snake, I break all contracts, agreements, vows, promises
I break all contracts, oaths, vows, promises, and agreement
now.
with you now,
Okay.
and I command you to leave my bodies and field.
Okay, now
now.
remember, don't forget to say across all space, time, lifetimes,
space,
dimensions,
lifetime, dimensions, and universes.
parallel lifetimes, and all universes.
Parallel
Throw that
lifetimes.
in there.
All universes.
Okay, we command you go to the source now. Goodbye.
Command you to go to the source now. Goodbye.
See, these fuckers can squeak their way back in. That's how they do it.
Ah, that's crazy shit.
I know. Okay, now they're removing dark custodians and seals that have been placed on you, not by you, by others. So remember, just like with all other clearing, guys, you cut off the head of the snake, then you check what else is there. There's clearly going to be minions. There's probably going to be dark custodians and seals, probably that you placed on yourself and that were placed on you. There's likely going to be black magic, spell casting, and all the other things. So I'm just watching it go now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still dark custodians and seals. So you know now, because you've intended to clear all past, present, future, parallel, all universes. Okay, these are ones you placed on yourself that stopped your soul development. Breathe for me while we do it. Okay, now they've gone into spell casting. All cursing, hexes, vexes, ropes, cords, blades, entrapments, voodoo spells, Wiccan spells, nanoparticles, nanobots, negative incantations of any kind, negative implants of any kind. I command they all be released, please. Any other attachments, any black magic connections of any kind, any manipulations, programs taken on. Okay, and then now just imagine pulling the root of any cord, because imagine all forward of that particular parallel lifetime. So just pull all cords from the root. I don't consent.
I don't consent. You are commanded to leave. My body's in field.
Okay, and one more cord cutting with your father. Both the one that said that to you at 17 and the one from when you were 3. Okay. You are forgiven.
You're forgiven, and Dad, I forgive you.
There we go. Beautiful. So guys, remember, we're doing this in a proactive way. But any physical condition like what Kelly was presenting with the pain would be your body's manifestation of that. So it's just another thing you got to add to your checklist. Is there so what I'm suggesting you do as practice, and we'll revisit this on Thursday. Between now and then, I advise you go through, because this was helpful for me, to go through just to understand where those root lifetimes jetted off. Okay, so for me, I understood, again, there is no timeline, parallel lifetime, that I don't have Zach and Ellie. So I already know that that's I don't really need to, go anywhere from there, because I can't really mess with that. Does that make sense? You guys have seen movies where you go back in time and you fuck with time parallel. Watch Back to the Future. Okay, there you go. All right, just rewatch Back to the Future. The reason why these rules are in place are because of that. So you don't have any children, so it was okay for you to go back, right?
Yeah.
But from what I understood, there is no, anchor points. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So they're called anchor points. And so it makes it a little bit more difficult for us that have children to be able to go back, because we don't want to mess with it, right?
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Wow,
and then you just want to ask, is there anything else that needs to be done? Oh, I saw applause, by the way. I just saw applause. The Syrians, they're like, yeah, you did it. That was
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Okay. So let's do Jan next, and then Lori. Did you check in?
I did. I checked in that there was lifetimes where Sierra was not my child.
Yep.
And I got that I was 20. There's something about the timeline of 20.
Correct. Yep. So something that would have happened at 20 would have impacted like a branch this way or a branch this way. So what do you think that was?
But what I hear is she wasn't born to me and she wasn't adopted by me.
Correct. Okay, is this the timeline that you need to heal?
Yes.
Okay, so does that start when you're 20? The road that led you to adopt her, does that start when you're 20? So it must have something to do with
No.
whether or not you, okay, so what did 20 have to do with it, do you think?
I don't know. I just asked what timeline and I got 20. So
Okay, so ask now, is whatever impacted me adopting her, did the root timeline anchor point, is it at 20 years old? So what we want to do is we want to find the anchor, the root of where this,
I know I'm just
timeline
using
went.
my pendulum to try and get it. Sorry,
help.
you're probably
can-
talking to everybody.
Yeah, I can help though.
Okay.
Okay, so we know now that we're clearing a parallel timeline when you were not Sierra, you did not adopt Sierra. That's a yes. Okay, we're clearing that from,
Sorry, how do we know it's not adopt her versus not? Because I think she's been my biological child in other lifetimes.
that is true, yes. So so you want to know though what timeline you're correcting that is not in alignment from this lifetime?
Right, that's why I'm asking. I don't know.
Right. So is it related to I don't think it's related because we've asked and we've intended it to be parallel timelines that we're working on today. So I don't think it's past lifetime related. Is it past lifetime related? Yes or no? Nope. So there's something, okay, can you give me the age in which the alternate timeline happened that she didn't adopt Sierra? Yes. Is that 20? Yes. So something happened at 20 that could have veered you into another direction of, did you get pregnant? Did you have a miscarriage?
Were you seeing someone else where you wouldn't have ended up with your husband?
That's what
Or
it has
was there potential someone else?
That's what I'm getting to.
I don't have time to keep up with the questions. So.
Okay. Is it related to, ask the question, is it related to me being with someone else and not marrying Sierra's father?
I have no.
Okay. So let me ask the question. What timeline are we healing has to do with Jan not adopting Sierra? Is that correct? Yes. And that is
I
related.
thought it was about me not wanting to adopt.
That's what it is. There we go. So why do you think that, was that maybe something you thought about in your early 20s? When you were around 20, do you remember? Did you think you'd have your own kids? Like, where do you think this came from?
In this lifetime?
Mhm.
Or I have
Yep.
no idea. I never envisioned myself getting pregnant.
Okay.
I just, it's not that I didn't think I could or wouldn't. I just never saw it when I looked in the future.
Okay. And so do you think there would have been a version of you that also didn't see you adopting?
Well, they're saying yes.
So that's the timeline. So did that timeline anchor out when she was 20? Yes or no? Keep going. 21, 22, in her 30s? No. Before her 30s? Before her 30s? Keep going. Was it closer to when she actually adopted her? No. How old would you have been when you made the decision to adopt her? Or like, can you take me to right before then? How old would you have been?
In my 40s.
Okay. So was there a timeline in her 40? I think you keep bringing me back to 20. I don't know why, but there's something, I think it has to do with you being with someone else.
In this lifetime?
Yeah.
Well, I was with someone else.
But but I'm getting that you married him.
Oh. Yes.
There you go. And then you wouldn't have been her mother because you would have married the other one. Okay, is there anything else we have to know about that timeline? Keep going.
Would the potential other partner that you married have not wanted to adopt?
I'm getting the other potential partner would have wanted you to have kids.
Me too.
So you can also ask, is there a parallel lifetime when I do have children? I'm getting no.
I'm getting that he didn't want children at all.
Okay, something happened in that parallel lifetime, whether or not you got pregnant and had an abortion, or something happened in this other parallel lifetime that affected then just even the fact that you married him could have affected them,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And is this parallel lifetime something that is affecting Jan and or Sierra? Yes. So I'm also getting that Sierra would not have had the same kind of life as she does now. That's a big yes. So that's a really big timeline consideration. Okay. So is there anything we need to clear? I'm not getting the, oh, okay. We're just going to keep going. Dark custodians and seals. Blocks. Blocks. That's the first thing that's coming up. You do have another cord to cut with the man you were with when you were 20s. So again, just I see you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I cut these cords of attachment now, leaving only love. Okay, I'm just going to check in on anything else. More dark custodians and seals. Lots of them on your own development. Like you place these on yourself. So I don't know in that lifetime if you would have reached this. I don't think you would have reached this evolution of yourself in that lifetime. Yeah, she's very stuck. I can feel like lots of tent right here, like a rock. So you see, you're not only affecting Sierra's potential outcome in her life, but your own as well, right?
Mhm.
Okay, that's a heart. Okay, is there anything else that needs to be done with that timeline? No. Cool. And we've cleared that before. We've cleared that relationship, but it's not just that it's impacted.
Yeah. Well, we cleared it from this. Yeah.
From
yeah,
this
I know what we
standpoint,
cleared.
from your own,
From
your
this-
own
from this
feeling,
lens.
right?
Yeah.
But
from this
not from the lens of her,
No.
and not from the lens of any. I think you got in that parallel timeline. I think you had an abortion or something. Like I think you got pregnant. That's what I'm getting, and you didn't want it. And I don't get that you would be at the same evolutionary place as you are now in that timeline. Wow, crazy. Crazy. Okay, interesting. Who wants to go next? Lori, I think I said you were, I think Lori, I said you were next. Okay,
So
did you check?
I checked that there was a timeline, yes.
Okay.
And I don't know, are we just doing children? Is that what we're doing?
Nope, you can do whatever you want. We need to tune into whatever is presenting. So it could be something you're struggling with now,
Yeah,
It could, that's impacting you, okay? It could be your relationships, it could be your children, it could be anything.
all right. Well, I don't know where my pendulum is, so I'm just relying on.
Okay, well, we can, yeah, and we'll back you up here. Okay.
So I'm getting that there are timelines where I don't have Tyler, and there's timeline, and my timeline now I am missing about 2 or 3 children that I have
That you
some
could potentially have
yeah.
had. Yep, that's a yes.
So that's what I understand. But I think I'm having really bad headaches the last couple of weeks. I told you
Okay.
guys earlier.
Yep.
It comes and goes. There's a lot going on. I don't know what the hell. I feel like I'm being tested every single day, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be learning here, and it's getting really hard. So I'm thinking there's something right now, maybe with people that are in my life right now, that maybe I just gotta.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
that might be a timeline.
I gotta keep going on this. Do you want me to tune in?
Sure, yeah, because I need help. I
Okay.
need some help.
Okay. So we're gonna ask right now, are the headaches related to what we're clearing today? Yep. Okay. Is this related to what we're working with today? Yes or no? Yes. So the Syrians specifically are here to help with this, okay? So I hear resistance, difficult choices. There's also something to do with your home that you're really struggling with. The choice of some kind. Okay. Can you please show me the time, if there's a specific timeline we need to be working in right now? A specific parallel timeline. Can you please show me? Is it the timeline that would have been, is it anchored when in her timeline with her son? Yes or no? No. So it's after. Is it a timeline since she's met Ken? Yes. Is it a timeline? Is it involved in a timeline before she met Ken? No. Okay. Is there a specific anchor point, choice point for Lori now in this timeline? Yes. Okay. Do I keep going, Lori?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
I don't know. I'm asking. Do I have
Yeah, no,
permission?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Is there?
Lori, can I just lift some grief? I can feel all the what you're carrying. Can I just remove while Alicia's figuring it out? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, thank you.
Is there? Okay. Is there already a parallel timeline when she is not with Ken? No. Is there a potential timeline where she is not with Ken in the future? Keep going. Is there something that needs to be addressed within their timeline from the past that will impact their future? Yes. Okay. So this has something to do with your relationship with Ken since you've been with him. That is going to impact your future timeline. Okay. How long have you been with him?
Almost 10-ish years, I guess.
Okay. Can I ask, please? Do I have permission to ask? Yes. Okay. Is there something that needs to be cleared within the last 10 years that is impacting their relationship now? That's a yes. I'm trying to be very unbiased here. That's why I'm asking all these questions. Okay. So it's very good that Kelly's doing the emotional clearing because I feel like I need to be very specific. So something has happened. I'm going to ask how many years ago, okay, that has affected where you are now in your relationship with him. 3 years ago? More than 3 years ago? 3 years ago. So that would have been what, 2021?
Okay.
No. 2022, 2022, 2021, 22. What was happening in your relationship between in like 2021, 2022?
That was during COVID, right?
Ish,
Yeah.
yeah. Started in 2020.
Nothing
Was
significant
there,
that I can think of.
when did the whole deer thing happen? When that was
Oh,
2020.
that happened. I guess that's 2 years ago now.
Is it before the deer? Yes. So you have shared with me before that you were like not having any of it like 3 years ago.
Yeah. I haven't been happy since the deer hit me.
Yeah. But the deer was the boulder, right? That sort of led you down this healing path. Is there a timeline where Ken broke up with her? Yes. So is that he broke up with her, or did she break up with him? No. There's a timeline that he broke up with you. Okay. And there's a version of you, Lori, that has abandonment. You feel abandoned.
I do, yeah.
This is it.
Yeah. I was just talking about that today. Yeah.
This is it, my love.
Okay, so that's what we have to clear.
Yeah. We got to go back for her. And I feel like I've had a witness to this because I know how much he loves you. And when I first met you, when at the rock space, when like I could see you weren't there, and he was just, he brought you there because he knew he couldn't help you. And so I'm looking back, I can see it in my mind's eye, that version of you, and that would have been like within the year of when this would have happened. So there was a timeline where he did abandon you. He didn't abandon you, but he broke up with you
Mm-hmm.
because he just couldn't help you. He didn't think he could help you. So this is the abandonment, my sweet. So you're actually feeling the abandonment of a parallel timeline where he leaves you.
Okay.
Can you feel it?
Oh my God, yeah. I've just been like this for like a month. I can't take this anymore. Like it's bad.
Is this making sense? Does it relate to, do you feel
It
like
does.
this around him? And
Yeah, I do, because I just feel like what the hell? I it's like I just feel like he doesn't have my back or stand up for me, and it's just like I'm so tired of him saying, "Oh, it'll be fine," because it's not fine.
so this is a big
Alicia,
time. Yeah, go ahead.
is there a potential that that version of her took an exit point? Because I believe it might have happened and it's bringing him grief as well, which is why he's avoiding it.
Yeah. There's a version of you that got so down and so lost, and that's the version of you coming up, and that's why she's been coming up for you to see her.
She just wants you to come back and bring her with you. That's why the grief is so heavy.
Really heavy.
If I didn't start pulling that out of you, I would have started to cry and I didn't know why. And
I could
that's why
feel
I
it too.
could
That's why I'm
feel
like,
it.
I'm
I was
really
like,
glad
I'm
Kelly
gonna
can
move
put.
I'm gonna start crying.
Okay, so it didn't happen,
No.
but there's a version, there's a pair, you are experiencing it as if it did, and your conscious mind doesn't know why. Holy shit balls. This is freaking crazy shit, right? This is okay. So let's clear it. And you know how this works. The dark attachments are going to do whatever they can to keep you back here. That's their job. So they're going to use anything they can to pull you back.
Yeah, and that's what's been happening. Yeah.
Okay, so let's clear it. Close your eyes. Well, we've already cleared a lot. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for the backup. All right, so this entity that is doing this to you, this is who you're speaking to. I see you. I know what you're doing. Thanks for your lessons, but I do not consent. I break all contracts, agreements, vows, promises with you now, and all karmic debt of any kind, including any contracts, binds, hooks, blades, implants. I do not consent. I also break all contracts and agreements between you and any other human you are impacting. It's time for you to return to source. I command that you go now. There we go. All right, we got black magic. Clear the black magic. We got spell casting. I'm pulling a bunch of root cords out of you. So there were a couple other root parallel timelines of spiraling. Release them. Okay, I need you to forgive Ken and forgive him. Cut the cords. Cut the cords. Release. Now go back to that version of you. Tell her you came back for her. Breathe while you do this. So you can feel it all in your body, okay? So you can feel it is not situational. This is a parallel timeline. Tell her she is safe. She is loved. She has come so far. Sorry it took so long. Tell her you're sorry it took so long. Okay, we're going to release all dark custodians and seals. We're going to do a violet flame now. We're going to do a whole portal. I want you to release any of the minions, dark entities. Release, release, release. Those ones in the causing the headache, release them. Tell them they can go now. Tell them they're forgiven. Okay, and then now that abandonment, breathe. Breathe it up and out. There you go. There you go. Now dark custodians and seals that are placed on you. Clear it, clear it, clear it, clear it, clear it, clear it. Okay, tell that version of you she's coming with you. Tell her thank you for bringing me back here, but we're good. We're beyond good. There you go. Okay, with Kelly's extra support there was a whole lot of healing there done. Okay, so I'm just going to, your auric field here, we're just going to seal that up a little bit. I can feel something in your back body too. Like
I've been in a lot of pain, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of pain to me.
And some of my limbs are going numb and it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so some of the other things are the ascension symptoms that we're all going through, okay? But a lot of it is them trying to pull you back, okay? Into old, I can't do this. I don't know how to heal myself. I don't know how to clear myself. What's going on? I have no, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get to old version of Lori who doesn't know how powerful she is.
So are people going to stop being mad at me now?
Yeah, and at some point you got to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
So a couple more cord cutting exercises. If I can just remind you also, Lori, I let my son go for an entire year. His anger was palpable. He hated me. And I finally decided, no. And he's back around and everything is okay. And he doesn't need to apologize to me. I spent the day with him today. Okay, so people are going to hate you. They're going to hate you because you trigger the fuck out of them. And unfortunately, right now, you're triggering the fuck out of yourself. Okay. Okay, I say this with love. Okay.
Yeah.
So
it literally dropped that it's not your fight. If people are like, you don't have to participate in every argument and every fight that you're invited to. You don't need to justify it with your time or your energy because you're beyond that now. And it's also why you're feeling crappy because you're trying to justify yourself to people who don't even know why they're mad at you or are making up bullshit.
Okay. And this is the chaos that I warned you about. And we're all living it, you know. It's very hard. And I'm saying this to everybody right now. The fuckery is real, okay? And they're doing everything they can. Everything. I mean, we'll talk about what happened at Kathy's. You know, she's at a great example. You're all great examples right now, including myself. I had to get Kelly yesterday. I was like down there, guys. I was in, you know, pure soul exhaustion, like giving up mode for like 3 or 4 days. And you know that's not like me.
I was the
Okay.
same. I was like lost, feeling like I didn't know what the point of doing all this stuff was anymore. Like the weight of it was too much. I was exhausted. How do I keep getting back to the, like, I was in the exact same place. So I just don't want you to feel alone either. Cause
You're
I
not.
had a low point where I had to work on myself for almost a day. And then I still needed help because I was so triggered.
Okay, so remember, we're all being triggered. There's all kinds of different reasons why. And look at Kelly's shirt right now. Love fucking wins. God damn it, love wins. And until love wins, you got to take the small leaps of miracles. So, Lori, you will find you feel better tonight. It'll be like a fog has lifted. All right. You got to hold on to that as the proof. I'm going to move right into describing what's been happening at Kathy's house. Because you guys, we have to find the source. And if it's these parallel lifetimes, if it's past still, if it's whatever, you have the tools. You can do this. And you also can ask for help. I did. You don't have to sit and do it alone. But the one thing that you can't do is get into allowing that poor me, I'm always the victim. And I'm speaking from myself. Okay. I'm not looking at you, Lori, or anyone else. I'm telling you me. I did this. I went into, and it's okay too. If I had a hot minute where I was like, poor me, that's okay too. Okay. But it's okay to say it. And then you need to bring yourself back. Why am I being shown this right now? Well, I still have triggers. Why is the fuckery still happening? Because I still have shit to work out. I still have cords to cut. I still have things to learn. There's still more that I need to do. But you got to take the wins. Take the wins. Okay. And remember, everything is happening for us. You're going to feel better today now, Lori. We've just cleared a major, major timeline. And you're going to feel better. And now you're going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Right?
It does, because last week I literally sat and I said to someone, if I died right now, I could give two shits, because I was done.
You see? So you were connecting with that parallel timeline, that version of you that did take the exit. And I can feel the soul pain. I get it. This isn't for the faint of heart,
It's been really tough the last few weeks. Like, everything and anything that could happen to me has happened to me. Like, how many lessons can one person learn? Like,
And it's
honestly.
not about lessons anymore, though. Guys, I've described this to you too. We are the Avengers of this time. We're actually here to do this. It's not lessons anymore. We're beyond that. At this point now, you're in master. You're in your masterhood. You're here to manipulate energy. You're here to figure it out and to clear it. It's not a lesson anymore. It's not. Because every timeline you clear or anything you're a portal to, you're impacting. Look at how many people we've just impacted right now in a couple of you that we've worked with today, right? So that's what you need to remember, all of us. When we're tired, I was the same Friday night. I was saying to Natalie, I'm like, like, what do I have to show for it? I'm 48 years old. I have worked my ass off my whole life. The last 6 years, I have been like knee deep every day, every night. What do I have to show for it? And then Natalie lovingly said, well, look at how you've been able to help me and all of these other people. So, Alicia, you have a lot to show for it. But in my mind and in my heart, I was like, well, fuck this. Like, I don't have I have no savings. Like, that was where my mind was. Okay. And I literally felt that. I felt depleted. I felt soul fatigued. And then when she said that to me, I'm like, of course, of course I have lots to show for it. Right. But our human needs to be heard sometimes too. And that's okay. As long as we don't stay there. And if you have stayed there too long, you got to figure out a way to get out. And if you can't do that for yourself, you got to ask for help. That's what we're here for. And I asked for help. I only made it 2 days before I asked for help. So you've made it weeks. All right, good. Okay, I'm gonna do, it's already 5:30, so we're gonna continue this, but I'm gonna do Kathy. I'm gonna check, also check specifically Holly, I think, now. And we're gonna give you some practice between now and then. So I'm gonna give you some specific practice. I'm gonna tune into Kathy right now. Is there any timeline, parallel timeline Kathy needs to clear at this time? Yes. So we're gonna check in on them all, okay? And then we'll finish clearing on Thursday what we don't clear today. Okay, so I'm gonna check in on all of you, and then we're gonna finish the clearing that you don't get to do in group on Thursday. Okay, so Kathy, did you tune in?
Yes.
Okay, what did you get?
Car accident, 1987.
Very good. Well done. Well done, you. That was fast. Okay, so the car accident didn't happen, or it did?
Did.
It did, and it didn't happen in your current anchor this lifetime.
It happened which?
So it didn't really happen? It
Oh.
happened in that lifetime. Is that what you got?
No, it happened this one.
Oh, it happened in this one. Okay, so was
No.
it worse in the parallel timeline? Was it worse?
Oh, I see. I don't know. I think it did not happen there.
Okay. Was there a timeline when this car accident did not happen? You are correct. Okay. So was there a particular reason for the car accident to happen at that time? Yes. So how do you think that the car accident impacted your life, where there's another parallel version of you that didn't get the memo, let's say? Because usually,
Okay.
guys, a car accident or a major health crisis is I call them boulder events. Okay, so it's something to wake you up. So
Okay.
what shifted after that car accident?
I was really sick and poisoned by the people, the powers that aren't, for almost 2 years, and that got me on my path
Bingo.
to look into the other ways of doing things. Yeah.
Right, and you wouldn't have stopped. You would have
No.
kept going because you would have
Right.
had no reason. So that was your shake-up moment.
That was my catalyst. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so then you'd ask, is there any version of me that, and that's a yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so you wouldn't have been on this path. Is that
Right.
correct?
Okay.
Keep going. All right, is there any dark entity that needs to be cleared around this timeline? Keep going. Is there any courting, contracts? Yes.
Mm.
Is there any karma? Yes.
Okay.
Is there anything she doesn't know how to do? Nope. So you can go through and clear any residual cords, attachments, karma, to that version of Kathy.
To the present one, or the one that
The
went
version of
scot-free?
That's right. Because another boulder would have hit that would have been even bigger,
Oh, I see. Okay.
is what I'm getting. Okay.
Okay.
So what you need to do then, so your job is to go back now and tune in. So what version, what needs to be cleared from your aura, your biofield, whatever, because it's still impacting you, just like a past life would, from that version of Kathy.
Okay. The other version.
The other version. So right now
Okay.
they're already removing dark custodians and seals.
Okay. Good.
I do think you should just go through and do your own check. But there's lots of dark custodians and seals that were placed on you.
That makes sense.
Just gonna get them to show me now. I still want you to do the exercise of going to check, but lots of dark custodians and seals. Oh, I think that might be it. I'm just getting the heart.
Okay.
Is there anything else that needs to be cleared from that lifetime? Oh, yes, they want you to go through the exercise
Okay,
to practice,
okay.
because they want you to see.
From the alternate versus
Yep.
this. So
Yep.
this is okay, right?
Yep. But there's
This
a
one's
version
okay,
of you. There's a
It was
version
hell,
of
it
you.
was horrible, but
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you need to clear the remnants though of the trauma, like as well.
from this one.
From this one. Okay. But there are things that happened that wouldn't have happened if the accident didn't happen, that would have been far worse.
Okay,
Okay. So
that makes
as
sense.
an exercise, just go back, check. I just cleared a whole bunch of dark custodians and seals, but you need to
Thank
check
you.
in if there's more to
Okay,
tune into. Okay. And
Okay,
then what
thanks.
you're going to do is report back on Thursday.
I won't be, but
Oh, okay.
I'll send you a note.
Send us a note. Okay. So we can
Okay,
see,
sure.
because they're telling me specifically they want you to do the checking.
They're
Because you
hard
can't.
on me.
I know, but you're learning. So I'm going to cover most of what happened at Kathy's house and sort of the importance also of closing portals on Thursday. But since
Okay.
she's still here, I just want to kind of share what we're going to be talking about. So the two things that we're covering this week are these parallel lifetimes, but also the chaos energy within or energy events within your homes, and clearing your homes and other people. So basically, everything that we understood after a couple of days together that many years ago, when her husband first passed, that there was a lot of energy fuckery, basically just to rock her and to mess with her, so that she wouldn't continue in this path. And then while we were at the cottage, all the fuckery started again. So it was a reminder.
Based on an evil
Dark
next door neighbor, cousin.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that though. It was
No, I
also
know it wasn't.
the land asking for help.
Mhm.
Okay. So there was a whole bunch of shit happening at the house. I've also been experiencing this fuckery, and so has Natalie. So it shows up as toilets, washers, dishwashers, air conditioners breaking down,
Septic pump.
septic pumps in her
Who
condition.
needs to go to the bathroom?
Right. So all of
And
these
lots
things,
and lots of flies.
lots of flies. I've been also having the flies. So every time I leave my house lately for 24 hours or more than a day, and my daughter's here, her energy's not as high as mine, clearly. And so I walk in and it's just fuckery every time. So something was broken down, there's more flies, Wi-Fi is not working, there's something. So if you guys are experiencing this, you got to double down on your checking in why. Assume that any one event could potentially just be fuckery. Okay, so that includes any kind of technology breaking down. That includes any kind of, Wi-Fi issues. I mean, not to say that we're not experiencing things right now, but you got to double down right now, because the Syrians that are here to help us today, they want to make sure that I'm telling you this. Okay, there's another whole level of fuckery happening right now, and they're going to do anything they can do, including traffic jams. I mean, there's so many stories I could tell you. We just happened to be on our way to Barrie last Thursday to Kathy's cottage, just happened to be stuck in a traffic jam that ended up being because of a potential car bomb that we, of course, cleared on the way there. So we tuned in. Is there something we can do? Natalie and I, there was satanic, we cleared it. Within about 25 minutes of that clearing, everything opened up and we heard later there was a car bomb on the highway. So just expect that you might be there for a reason, wherever there is. Okay, whether you're in a traffic jam, whether you're in your own home and the fuckery is going on, just assume. And I'm going to go back to what I was saying before, you guys. What if we were here for this time? If not us, then who would have cleared that on the highway 400 if Natalie and I didn't do it? Right, I'm sure there would be another light worker that higher self was doing it. I'm sure there would. But do you see what I'm saying? So don't assume that any of this fuckery is just like, oh, poor me, why is this happening again? It always happens to me. And I feel like that's what shifted with you, Kathy, when we were there. I feel like you kind of got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So be aware that that's also happening right now. Okay. All right. Let's tune into Holly and
Gotta
Carlo.
go.
Okay.
Thank you very
Bye.
much.
It was lovely to
Lots
see
of
you.
love. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, Holly, let's check in. Did you check in on a parallel timeline?
I did, and it's a little bit confusing because it sounds like it's something to do with Ernie and something to do with when I was 18, but that doesn't really make sense because he died when I was 9.
Who's Ernie?
The pedophile, Nancy's pedophile father,
Hmm.
my grandfather.
Okay, so did
Um,
that okay, so this has something to do with though a choice that you made due to the abuse you had due to him, the trauma you had with him. This has something to do, so you said it was 18 years old?
That's what I was getting, 18. I was
I'm
like,
getting yes. So there is a path you took at 18. Okay, so there's a parallel lifetime. Okay. Is this related to her being with Carlo in any way? Keep going. When did you and Carlo meet?
21, 20, about 20.
Okay, so this has something to do,
1 year
That
ago.
was a while ago.
so this has something to do with a parallel lifetime where you are not with Carlo because of the fuckery.
Oh, really? Because I wasn't getting that we were in any lives that we weren't together or didn't have the kid.
Okay, is there a lifetime? Keep going. It's not about you not being with him. It just affects the general where you're at now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a lifetime, it's a potential timeline where you ended up with someone else and were not the same human you are now.
Oh, I
Okay.
see. Then that
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's a yes.
Okay.
Okay. So there is a parallel, let me ask this. Is there a parallel lifetime where she is with somebody else? Keep going. Is there a parallel lifetime? Okay, so there's a parallel lifetime where there isn't a parallel lifetime where you're not with him, but
I
there's
went back to all those guys.
okay, yeah. But there is a parallel lifetime where there was a delay.
Oh,
Okay, so that you weren't with him when you were, and it has something to do with something that happened when you were 18. Does it have something to do with a relationship she got into? No. I think it's a pregnancy.
at 18? Me?
Keep going.
Me?
Man.
Was there a, in this parallel timeline,
I was on birth control when I got pregnant with my first one. Never mind.
okay, there's a parallel time when you got pregnant when you were 18.
Oh, there.
Good thing your husband's with you and knows all this shit, right? Okay, so in this parallel lifetime, does the baby come to term? No.
Hmm.
Is in this parallel lifetime, does she abort this baby? Yes.
Really? I could never see me doing that. In a
There-
bazillion years.
I don't think it was. I
Who's
don't
that
think it was.
person? I don't want that person in my
I
parallel.
don't think it was. I don't think it was you. No, 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 no. I don't think that the person that impregnated you did it. I don't think it was a good thing.
Oh, I see. Okay. You mean
I don't
like
believe that it was a loving relationship.
a bad situation. Maybe that's where the molestation stuff that I was picking up, like some kind of nasty thing that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a few things happen already, but
So this is what I'm getting. There's a version of you, an 18-year-old version of you that was not in a loving relationship, that was probably raped or otherwise. I don't get that it was raped. I get that that was a relationship of some kind, but it was not a healthy one.
yeah, abusive.
Yes, very.
Mm.
Okay, so there was trauma around that. Okay, so did the baby pass naturally? No. So in that parallel lifetime, you would have had to have an abortion because you did not want to have this baby with that, right?
Have that person attacked. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so we need to go back to her. You need to go back to her and heal her. She's 18-year-old version of you. You need to tell her she's safe. You need to tell her she's okay. I'm already clearing dark custodians and seals. So I'm sure we're going for it. Let's go just clear the energy, shall we? Because why not? Because this fucker doesn't get to stay. Okay, so go back there. So breathe for me, Holly. I don't know if you think you know who this is. I'm not even going to ask. I just want you to go back to the energy.
I am getting flashes, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So we're clearing this now.
By the way.
Okay. So the first thing I'm clearing is spell casting, cursing, black magic. Now the entity. Go to the entity now. That was the entity that did this. I see you. I do not consent. On behalf of myself and any other human you have ever impacted, I break all contracts, agreements, vows, promises, all karmic debt and ties and attachments with you now. I command that you return to source permanently across all space, time, lifetimes, dimensions, parallel lifetimes, timelines, and all universes. It is done. Okay, good. Now clear the, now go to the next layer. So all the minions, tell them they are forgiven, but they must leave. It's time for them to go. You do not consent. You forgive them, but they must leave now. Good, very good. Okay, now go if you think you know who this is. There's another satanic entity. Okay.
Yeah. Keeps popping in my head. That's probably why.
Yep.
Name keeps popping in my head, and it's
Okay. So go to him right now and say, I see you. It's a satanic energy again. So I break all contracts, agreements, vows with you now. I break all cords. It's time for you to go return to source. And if you do not go right now, I will blow you the fuck up. There we go. I have a feeling that that particular person affected many others.
yeah, I already know that.
Okay. Well, this is what we're clearing. Okay, you did it. Now go back to yourself. Go back to the 18-year-old version of yourself before it happened. Before. Okay, tell her she's safe. Tell her you came back for her. Tell her you just cleared it. You just cleared that fucker. And tell her she's coming with you. Okay, now go backwards in time one more time. Go back to the original trauma that would have put you in a situation to experience the secondary trauma. Clear that one now. Do not consent. I break all contracts and agreements with you now. From the root, I release these now across all space, time, lifetimes, dimensions, parallel lifetimes, all timelines, and all universes. It is done. Thank you. Now, blast beautiful Christed light to that version of you. There you go. And now cut the cord of attachment with the grandfather. And it is done. Amazing.
Spooky bird.
Check to see if there's anything else. I'm getting no. Wow, cool. How are you
Great.
feeling about that?
Wouldn't have expected that shit show.
No, no. You see these parallel lives? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, that situation changed in this life changed a whole bunch of stuff. I actually quit school because of it.
Oh, see?
Quit school and I moved from the area and everything.
Yeah, so there would have been even more trauma, which would have, again, I didn't get that there isn't a lifetime you're with Carlo and have your kids, but it would have affected the timeline of that, and there would have been more trauma in between.
Yeah, too much emotional.
Yep, yep, yep. And you also affected, because you've just cleared it, you've affected anyone who would have experienced trauma due to that energy, those people all forward. Got it? Isn't that awesome? Our parallel lives. They're superheroes. Okay. All right. I'm going to just check then Carlo and Kelly, and then we'll regroup on you two. I would love it if you guys did the exercise though between now and Thursday of seeing if there's any other timelines.
Yeah, I'll clear that and many more.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you then, Carlo, did you come up with one that you want me to verify?
Well, it was confusing because I kept getting mixed signals, but I did get an age of 33.
That is correct.
Yeah. And then I couldn't explore it properly. So, but just because I have a thing when the TV's on. I can't
Okay.
be distracted and no background noise and stuff. So,
Okay. Are you able to figure the process out on your own?
yeah, 100%.
Okay, then we're gonna go back on Thursday and we're gonna deep dive into it. And there's gonna be others. So your homework specifically, Carlo, is to do it on your own so that you don't get distracted.
Perfect.
And so we can bring it up then on Thursday, and then I'm gonna do another deeper dive on you. Okay? All right, so again, everyone has the homework to do this, to check in, and you might get a no. You might get a no that there's not another parallel lifetime coming up. That's okay. Okay, but check it, do the process, and then share with us on Thursday, and I'm gonna dive in and do anything else that needs to be done. Okay, and then Kelly, I'm gonna check on you. Is there another parallel lifetime for Kelly? Did you get it? Did you check in, or were you too busy helping
I
everybody?
initially got a yes. I initially got a yes, but then I got a no.
Okay, so let's check. Did you do any of this work last week? Because we had,
I did. So after you helped me figure out the potential timeline with Hallie, I realized there was a potential one where I didn't have Abby. So I went back and I worked through that and I healed that
okay,
as
so
well.
let me ask, is there another potential timeline currently affecting, yeah, it has to do with work.
Oh,
Your
there
work
was
in the
one
world.
where I didn't stay a paramedic.
There's another one. There's another one
Yay.
that's coming up. Yep. Okay, so can I ask the age?
$27.
Yep. I was just kidding. I was like 26, 27. Yes. So what would that have been?
So it's funny. There was like an investigation to a partner that I worked with where they were almost fired, but nobody was supporting them. But they actually didn't do anything wrong in this case. There were other times they had. So I spoke up and just told the truth. But the chief of our service at the time was angry that I did. So he tried to lay me off, even though I didn't do anything. And by a bunch of outside things that happened, I ended up being able to keep my job because I would have been able to sue him if he
Yes.
went forward with it. So there was a potential timeline where it happened where I wouldn't have been a paramedic.
This is it. And so what I'm getting that it's affecting you now, okay, is the shame and the self-doubt and not speaking your truth, and also the fighting of the system, right? Because that was a system. I mean, that was clearly not something you did or should have deserved. So there was a lot of speaking your truth, standing in your truth, standing in your power that needs to be released. And this is related, it's like parallel to this time for some reason. It's probably just on the tear down of the systems that's starting to happen, right? And you taking back your power.
Yeah. It's me not wanting to be in the system anymore. Like I just don't
there's
want to.
that. There's that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you heal this timeline, there's going to be something more about your work that's going to come forward. There's a
I think
block.
it's gonna be the judgment from my family for leaving that job and letting it go.
There you go. Bingo.
Yeah.
Okay. Not to say you have to make that decision now.
Oh, I want to. I don't care.
Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
There we have it. Yep.
I worked through that last week too, because I was just like, I saw how much it affected me just going through the process for that job, that I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another, it feels like heart hurt again, judgment, shame. Let's just breathe that out now. As you hold space for everyone else, always, Kelly. And there's also the stabbing of the back energy. I can feel it.
Yeah, it's from my boss, because the person who got the job I applied for, I found out there's a policy where if they had applied for another supervisor position and turned it down, anyone that came up in the next 6 months, they were automatically offered it first, even though it was in a different area. So that person was getting it no matter what. And my boss did not tell me and allowed me to take time off to prep. And even though no matter how good I did, they literally could not offer it to me. So I think I actually scored higher in the interview, but there's this policy that doesn't allow them to offer me the job, which is why I'm like, why am I doing this? But it also, I'm grateful because it realigned and refocused me on this, because I was like,
of course it did.
That direction anymore.
And you knew I knew you weren't going to get the job.
I know.
Sorry.
And but it pulled me back into like old versions of myself and old timelines,
and
there was a bit of guilt of not getting it and shame. And then it came out that that's how they got it. And I was like, oh.
But this is why it happened the way it happened. You had to go back there.
Yeah.
And this
well, and it was an old version of me that I didn't want. Like, I don't want to do it anymore.
So guys, big decisions are not just this or that, and this is also the other reason why divine timing is so important. So we all have to be mindful of these things, right? And if we can keep saying, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? Remember, our future selves, they know why, right? They know why. So what all of these lessons are showing us is that there are still versions of us that still have some clearing to do. And that's why we have to do this work. Okay, is there anything else that the Syrians need for Kelly? They're telling me right now they're doing it for you. You don't have to do it yourself.
I know, they were like, nope, you don't need to do that. And I was like, thanks.
Nope, the dark custodians and seals are being lifted right now. They say thank you. It's like they're saying, I'm translating. Thank you for obliging us. Like, thank you for allowing us to show you in your own examples. Yeah,
sometimes I wish the examples were gentler. Like,
I know, like, can we please?
Fine.
Can we please? And we can ask for that. So we're going to, please. We need some more gentle. Yes, we're not in Earth School anymore. These are not all lessons anymore. We do not consent to those anymore. You're going to show us and show us using all of the way that we approach these things now, as opposed to the way we did before. And we will listen and we will learn and we will remember. Okay, they're just
is this tied to my back pain then? That's still like,
yeah, because I can feel it too.
I was gonna say it like went away, and then after I came home, it came back again, and I was like, come on.
Just another level. Yeah. Okay. So the final thing they're telling me to let you know is, it does feel very much like they're showing me a shovel right now. It feels like we're going deeper again. And they're just saying that it's because of where we're at. So there is relief.
Knew there was more depth.
They said there's relief on the other side.
How far is the asking for a friend?
Asking for a friend. I feel like Hi Kelly would have said that. Asking for a friend.
It's the other side.
Okay. Kelly, I did have a meditation at Kathy's cottage, and I was on a bird, and then the bird became a dragon, and in French told me it's almost over.
I do
And,
believe
and yeah, and we got
And-
that it was not just for me,
it was
this-
for everyone. And I've gotten that message a few times. And I don't know if this is important, but I did dream about Donald Trump again last night, you guys. So I don't know what the fuck's about to happen.
Lucky
But
you.
and he was like taking me, like he was showing me something. I was arm in arm with him. And I was like, well, do I have to be worried about walking beside you? And he's like, no, it's okay. It's not like that here. I just, he seemed like a father type figure. Not like, I can't, I don't even remember really what, but it was very like, wasn't scary. It wasn't serious. It was, but he was there and I was walking arm in arm with him and he was showing me something. So I don't know. I don't know what that means, but I do feel that, I'm feeling it too, you guys. So don't think that I'm not feeling it. It's been very heavy for me. And I'm waiting for it to lift just like you. And all the people around me. So another recommendation to double down on your clearing. You're clearing your loved ones. You're clearing your homes. Okay. We're going to really talk about that more on Thursday. But until then, spend some time. And it doesn't mean everything's a parallel timeline all of a sudden. So make sure you just do a tune in between now and then and ask. Maybe it's a higher self collective timeline. Maybe it's a past life. But if it's a specific thing you're dealing with, maybe it's just heaviness, like my soul fatigue that I was feeling. Maybe it was like what Lori, you're describing. Then find the reason. Do the work. Ask. Okay. And I'm also just getting a final message to please spend some more time in your pyramids. They can help you there. Okay. Is there anything else that we need to know? No. Can you help us ground and come back down? Yes, we're grounding all of this now into the loving arms of Mother Earth. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, Source. Thank you to all of you for assisting us. Please ensure that all remaining karma, karmic loops, patterns, triggers, traumas, and all karmic debt related to all of which we spoke about today for all involved is now dissolved permanently. It is done. Thank you. Please close any and all portals, gateways, wormholes, vortexes that are not serving the light permanently. Thank you. Across all space, time, lifetimes, dimensions, parallel lifetimes, and all timelines. Thank you. It is done. Thank you. Please open and optimize all of our organs, bodies, fields, chakras, systems, and optimize it all to the highest light quotient we are available to us now. Imagine yourself now going back through the pyramid, through the door, floating in your Merkaba. Take a breath and come down, all the way down. And as you're coming down, you're bringing in a beautiful golden light. Looks like Christed light. And it is flowing now through the tops of your chakras, all the way down through your body. Breathe, anchor it back in. Put your feet on the ground. Anchor yourself into Mother Earth. Send your roots into the ground. And we ask that any and all souls that were lost do not get lost again. We ask that we anchor in all of this loving light into Mother Earth. And then bring yourself back up into your heart. Big breath in. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. With so much gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, my loves. Please take some time to practice between now and Thursday.
They want us to sleep in our pyramids tonight.
Oh, good idea. I did fall asleep in my pyramid the other night and I woke up and I was like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, they want us to like tuck ourselves in and then come down in the morning.
That's a very good idea. Okay. Yes. Okay. And if you get any messages from your Syrian counterparts, don't be surprised. So check in. Okay. Lots of water, please. You all got energy healing today. All right.
You're feeling better, Lori.
Are you feeling better, Lori?
I feel a little lighter. I still have the headache, but
Okay.
It'll-
So ask them to help you with that tonight. It's got to go now. You're done with it. Okay.
yeah, thank you.
Okay. We'll see you guys Thursday. Bye.
Hi, everybody.
I
Happy birthday, Kelly.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.